Today in history, we celebrate American aviator Charles Lindbergh. This great American pioneer died on August 26, 1974. We remember him today on what would have been his 73rd birthday, February 4th, 1975, had he not died last year of cancer. Charles Lindbergh was not the first person to cross the Atlantic Ocean. This is a common misconception. He was, however, the first person to cross the Atlantic solo. This was a journey of 33.5 hours and 3,500 miles at the time. His trusty plane, the Spirit of St. Louis, was designed specifically for the event and was equipped with many extra fuel tanks in order to make the trip. The inspiration to make this great voyage came from a contest. Charles had worked as a mail pilot a year earlier and had heard of a $25,000 prize for the first solo trip between New York and Paris. He soon gained the support of a group of St. Louis businessmen who funded the building of a plane capable enough to make the journey. The day of the flight, as he took off, his plane was so loaded with fuel that he cleared a tractor at the end of the runway by just 15 feet and a telephone line by 20. The first night there was fog, and Charles had to avoid flying through the clouds, for fear of sleep gathering on his plane. He thought for a moment about turning back, but decided he must not even think of going back. He continued on, and was at times a mere 10 feet from the waves, and wasn't still sure he was on the correct course. He found a fishing boat and knew that he must be close to land. When he swooped toward the plane and shouted the question, "Which way to Ireland?" the occupants of the boat were too surprised to respond, and rather than try again, he decided to continue on his supposed course. Less than an hour later, Charles saw the coastline that had been invisible to him because of a light haze and some storm clouds. When he landed in Paris, there was a crowd of 100,000 people waiting. He had to stop the propeller for fear of killing someone. He became an instant hero and earned the nickname the Lone Eagle. In this moment, Charles Lindbergh made history, and to this day it is considered a feat to fly over the Atlantic, and a foolish feat at that. We now have two pilots for this purpose, so that one may sleep while the other flies, and vice versa. Few people, even to this day, can say they have flown over the Atlantic solo.